What's going on, YouTube? We're back with another Pokemon solo challenge, and I've been enjoying the fully evolved Pokemon that I've been doing. And today we're going to be looking at Magneton. Now, Magneton is a Pokemon I've never used in any playthrough, really. If we look at its stats, the 120 special is nice, and it's got really good defense, but everything else from its HP to its attack and speed is real abysmal. And comparing it to Pokemon who I think are superior, like Jolteon and Raichu, Magneton just can't even hold a candle to these two. With that being said, if we take a look at Magneton's moveset, really, aside from Thunderbolt, we're going to be using Mimic for sure. We're probably going to be using Toxic. Maybe Double Edge. Not being able to learn Tri-Attack is really disappointing. And looking at its moveset, if you were to transfer it over from Gen 2, just these two attacks it can learn, yeah, Agility, Tri-Attack, that would be real nice. You know? Anyway, this first rival battle is nothing, because we start with Sonic Boom. And Sonic Boom is going to make Brock trivial as well. Because Sonic Boom is a set damaging move that does 20 HP every time. So, really, Geodude and Onix, they're not going to be able to do anything. We save in front of Brock at 8 minutes. And yeah, the battle's pretty easy. Geodude comes out, and Sonic Boom, that does about 2/3. Tackle does a lot. We have a very bad HP stat, which doesn't help that we have pretty good defense and great special. Anyway, Sonic Boom is a 2 hits on Onix, and it knocks it out. And of course, in Mount Moon, we have to take the superior fossil, the Dome Fossil. And if you're wondering what fossil I took, leave a comment and ask, because, you know, comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Sorry, Madrybread, I had to take that one. Anyway, once we stop getting encounters from these Zubats, we're going to be exiting Mount Moon with a time of 24 minutes. Not bad. So let's try our luck against Misty. She leads with Staryu. Staryu outspeeds, and Thundershock is a one-hit thanks to a critical hit. I'm pretty sure the crit mattered. Anyway, Starmie's next. X-Defend, Thundershock, it's probably going to be a 4 to 5 hit KO, but yeah, Bubble Beam, we're not going to stand a chance. So let's try the rival. Maybe with some extra levels we can take on Misty and actually beat her. Pidgeotto leads with Sand Attack, and I miss Thundershock. Quick Attack and Thundershock, but it doesn't one-hit KO. But thankfully we hit the next one. And Abra leads after Pidgeotto, which, since Abra can't attack us, I'm just going to use Sonic Boom, and it's done. Rattata I'm worried about because if it hits the Hyper Fang, it could knock us out. But Thundershock, ooh, that does good damage. We just get 2 quick attacks. Doesn't really look like we're feeling the effects of Sand Attack anymore. Sonic Boom looks like it's going to be a 3-hit KO on Bulbasaur, but this is where the bad luck comes in. All we need is one more hit. It goes for Leech Seed, but we get it. So we hang on by just barely. Now that we've got some extra levels from Nugget Bridge, let's take on Misty again. You'll see I didn't bother healing. Staryu is a one-hit with Thundershock, and the crit does not matter. Starmie, I paralyze with Thunder Wave. We now outspeed it, and Thundershock's doing a lot, and we get the KO thanks to the lucky Paralyze. So, that's awesome. And on the SSN, we're going to skip Body Slam because unfortunately, Magneton can't learn it. Sad, I know. I wish this big 3-headed magnet bolt thing could learn it. I feel like it should be able to learn it, but hey, whatever. Here's the SS rival. Leads with Pidgeotto, we now outspeed, unlike at Nugget Bridge. Thundershock is a one-hit KO. Thundershock almost takes down Raticate, but a second one will take it out. Kadabra, Thundershock, that's doing about a third. So, I elect for Sonic Boom, and probably Sonic Boom from the get-go would have been best. Ivysaur's last. Sonic Boom looks like it's going to be a 3 to 4 hit KO. And yeah, Ivysaur just doesn't attack us, so we get the knockout. And next is Surge, who once we beat him, we'll get the best electric move that we'll have for the rest of the game in Thunderbolt. Anyway, Voltorb is scary because it can also hit us with Sonic Boom, but it also gets off some screeches against us, which isn't good because Pikachu, it's just going to use Quick Attack, and we don't have a lot of health left for Raichu. Thunderbolt probably could knock us out. It goes for Growl, Sonic Boom, Thunderbolt, and oh wow, we survive. One more, oh! So Sonic Boom is a 4-hit KO, alright. Let's try that again. And let's fully heal. Because I thought we could win this battle not healing. So, once again, Surge is going to lead with Voltorb. And we're just going to use Sonic Boom. But Voltorb hits us with Sonic Boom also, and outspeeds us. This is already not looking good. I opted for a tackle on Voltorb at first just to see how it would do, and yeah. Pretty much Sonic Boom just wears us down to the point where Pikachu can just take us out. So 0 for 2 on Surge, that's new for these runs. I don't even think Kingler lost this much. But can we get it on try number 3? Well, Tackle actually does the job against Voltorb on round 3. I'm just going to Sonic Boom down Pikachu. And now I'm going to have 62 HP for Raichu. That's really good. We know that Sonic Boom is going to be a 4-hit KO on it. And I wish I could paralyze it with Thunder Wave, but there's some weird mechanic in Gen 1 where an electric Pokemon can't get paralyzed from an electric move. Kinda like how normal Pokemon can't get paralyzed from Body Slam, but as you see in the battle, it was a very close one. We defeat Surge, we've got Thunderbolt, and now we have the self-destructing Hiker. So with him, I'm just going for Sonic Boom and hoping that the Geodude don't use Self-Destruct like they just did. Sonic Boom is going to be a 3-hit KO on them. But once again, the second Geodude follows the first and self-destructs when it's on low health. Will Graveler do the same? Well, it misses a Rock Throw and self-destruct? Yeah. So let's try that again. We just need better luck of them not using self-destruct. And this Geodude uses it the first turn. Geodude number 2 goes for Rock Throw. That doesn't do too much. Tackle, okay. We've got plenty of health left for Graveler. I think we can survive a self-destruct with this HP. But Graveler doesn't use it, and we're advancing. And we're gonna learn Supersonic here because even though it's 55 accuracy is very bad, it could come in handy. Now next is the Pokemon Tower rival. And now that we have Thunderbolt, Pidgeotto and Gyarados are going to be no problem. Thunderbolt one-shots Pidgeotto. Gyarados one-shot with Thunderbolt. Growlithe, Thunderbolt, one-shot. Kadabra, I go for Thunderbolt to see how much it could do, and one-shot. We are 10 levels higher. Ivysaur, Thunderbolt's our best bet against it, and that's doing, just over a third. 3-hit KO, I'll take it. So Magneton up to this point has been doing pretty well. We're cruising. And here's where a roadblock is. Giovanni at the Rocket Game Corner was a pain. Onix hits with Bind. It only gets, well, nope. I thought it was a 2-turn bind, but it gets a 5-turn bind. Supersonic, it hits Rage, and yeah, I've replaced Sonic Boom now, as you see with Double Edge, because Double Edge is going to be the strongest physical attacking move Magneton gets. The downside is the recoil damage. And Magneton doesn't really have a way to deal with rock Pokemon or ground Pokemon in this generation. Later generations it does. But for now, all we've got is Supersonic and Double Edge, which I kind of regret teaching it Double Edge this soon. So we're gonna battle Erika instead. Maybe some extra levels will help us with Giovanni. And honestly, if we had Toxic, that would help a lot with Giovanni, because we could just stall out the Onix and the Rhyhorn. Anyway, Victory Bell. Thunderbolt is doing about a quarter to it. It gets a wrap on us. I go for Double Edge. That does a little more. It gets me with Poison Powder, which sucks because Magneton is unaffected by poison moves in later gens. Thunderbolt's doing about half to Tangela, which is nice. And all that's left is Vileplume. So what will be the best bet against Vileplume? I opt to paralyze it. It gets fully paralyzed. I confuse it. It still hits with Petal Dance. That's not doing too much. Thunderbolt, it looks like it's about a 4-hit KO. Maybe a 3-hit KO. And it gets off another Petal Dance. Ooh, we just survived that. We barely get the victory against Erika. So with some extra levels now, let's see how we do against Giovanni. So we confuse Onix. It goes for Rage. Kind of a double-edged sword there, because while Onix is locked into Rage, every time we attack it with Double Edge, its attack goes up. And Onix has great defense, so if we can't do too much damage, its attack is just going to keep building and building, and it's going to be doing more and more damage to us with Rage. Like, Magneton already doesn't have a great HP stat, and you see there, Onix did almost half of our HP. Rhyhorn can only use Horn Attack, and the recoil damage from Double Edge is starting to add up. And it's really right here where I'm like, man, Toxic would be so useful. Maybe I shouldn't have deleted Sonic Boom so soon. But we get past the Rhyhorn. Kangaskhan does not resist Thunderbolt, and once we get to Kangaskhan, that's an easy win. So on Cycling Road, I opt to level up against some of the trainers here, because we're really going to need these extra levels. Because Rival Fivel, Koga, Sabrina, Blaine, just as a few to name, and we also have Giovanni at Silph Co still, and Giovanni at Viridian City to deal with. So Magneton's going to need as many levels as it can get. And while we're on the topic of Magneton, I want to address some things. While we're training on Cycling Road here, I think it's dumb that Magneton can't learn Tri-Attack or Body Slam in this generation. I mean, it's 3 Magnemites that are stuck together. It should definitely be able to learn Body Slam. There's nothing preventing 3 magnets from just slamming into you. And the fact that we can't learn Tri-Attack either, I mean, once again, we're 3 magnets connected to each other. I mean, this was fixed in Gen 2, but would have been really nice to have an 80 base power move instead of Swift, Double Edge, or Takedown. I mean, it just stinks that Magneton's move pool is just so shallow, but enough about his move pool. Let's get back to the game. Only one mandatory juggler left before we get to Koga, and I really should have healed after this battle, and you'll see why. The Drowsy, it does some damage to me. The Hypno, though, does some damage. I hit myself and they poison me, which is going to spell bad news for this battle coming up. So, let's get right into it with Koga. As you know, Koga's gonna lead with his first coughing. Magneton, Thunderbolt, one shot. Out next is Muck, and Thunderbolt does not one-shot. Sludge nearly takes us out. Poison will take us out, but we KO Muck. We Thunderbolt the Coughing to take it out. We gain a level, but Wheezing holds on. Poison nearly takes us out, and Wheezing finishes us. Let's try that again with our health restored and not poisoned. Coughing once again, one shot with Thunderbolt. Muck, we know, is going to withstand a Thunderbolt. It's going to go for Disable, Double Edge, that's fine. Thunderbolt knocks it out. Coughing number 2, just going to be like Coughing number 1, one shot. Wheezing, we know, will be able to hold on from a Thunderbolt, and it does, but Axe attack, so Koga hands us the battle. And yeah, pretty easy when on full health. So now we're going to take on Rival Fivel, and since we have Koga's badge to boost our speed, this should be an easy battle, right? Well, you thought wrong if you thought that. The Rival leads with Pidgeot. We're going to use Thunderbolt, and Thunderbolt's a one-shot, as it should be. Next is Gyarados, Thunderbolt, also a one-shot. Okay, 2 down, 3 more to go. Growlithe, Thunderbolt, one-shot. Crit, might have mattered. Alakazam is next. It goes for a first turn recover. I go for Double Edge. It's going for recover again. I switch to Thunderbolt in hopes of getting a Paralyze. I'm not, so I go for Thunder Wave, but Disable, yeah. It goes for Disable again. Thunderbolt knocks it out. Venusaur's last. I confuse it with Supersonic, or at least attempt to. I switch to Paralyze at first. Now we confuse it, but with Leech Seed damage already going to be stacking up and taking the recoil, this isn't going to end well. And there's a Razor Leaf crit, and Thunderbolt. Venusaur's fully paralyzed. We almost pull it off. Almost. If we could have got another crit, we probably could have pulled that off. So I'm thinking, let's try this again. We almost won the first time. Maybe with some slightly better luck, we can win this time. Well, we already know the story with the first 3 Pokemon. Pidgeot is going to be a one-shot. Gyarados, Thunderbolt, one-shot. Growlithe, once it comes out. I thought the crit mattered, and I guess it didn't. One shot also. Alakazam, I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt against it. Critical hit, one shot, okay. Venusaur's last. Best case scenario, with this much health, it goes for Leech Seed. Supersonic fails, we've paralyzed it. Thunderbolt. Razor Leaf, crit, like it always does. We just need it to be fully paralyzed, but we don't get the luck. Oh boy. So I'm gonna opt for Blaine instead, because I see Rival Fivel as a roadblock. Maybe getting Blaine's badge and boosting our special, it'll be easier. He leads with Growlithe. Thunderbolt, it barely hangs on, but the next Thunderbolt takes it out. Ponyta is going to be next. Thunderbolt does not one-shot it, but Blaine retroactive Super Potions, and we take it out next turn. Rapidash, I opt for Thunder Wave because I want to outspeed it so that it can't trap us in Fire Spin, and 2 Thunderbolts take it down. Last is Arcanine. It outspeeds me, so I go for Thunder Wave, and Thunderbolt, that's some good damage, probably a 3-hit KO. It's just going for Ember, and Blaine pretty much hands us this badge. So now that our special is boosted, let's try Rival Fivel again. The fight should go a lot better this time, right? At least we hope so. Let's see how it goes. The Rival leads with Pidgeot. We know that Pidgeot, Gyarados, and Growlithe are all going to be one-shots with Thunderbolt. What we are worried about is Alakazam. It has high special. We're primarily a special attacker, and our only regular attacking move, Double Edge, hurts us when we use it. So out comes Alakazam. Thunderbolt almost takes it out. It disables Thunder Wave, that's fine. A second Thunderbolt takes it down. Venusaur comes out. Thunderbolt looks like it's doing maybe a quarter, and we paralyze it. Okay, yep. Thunderbolt again. 3-shot. That's what we needed. And that is Rival Fivel. Now, Giovanni's going to prove to be a little bit difficult. Nidorino is going to be a one-shot with Thunderbolt. Kangaskhan, Thunderbolt, one shot. Now, Rhyhorn, I have Toxic on my moveset now because it can resist all of our moves, and I figured Toxic is the best way to build up damage. Problem is, Rhyhorn only knows attacking moves, so it's going to be consistently attacking us. So I'm just spamming Supersonic over and over again. Rhyhorn eventually goes down, Nidoqueen is last, and it resists all of our moves. I confuse it with Supersonic, Body Slam does half but also paralyzes me, and yeah, I'm not going to be able to stand up to this. I'm going to take too much damage from Recoil. So let's try this again, and let's get Swift on our moveset. Thunderbolt, as we know, will one-shot Nidorino. Thunderbolt will one-shot Kangaskhan. Rhyhorn, we're going to use Toxic on it once again, and we want to confuse it with Supersonic. It fails, but we confuse it on the second attempt. That crit really hurts, but with Swift on our moveset, we can do a little bit of extra chip damage to Rhyhorn every turn. And last is Nidoqueen. Once again, we want to confuse it. Giovanni goes for a guard spec. Swift's doing some decent damage there. Looks like it's going to be a 3-shot, especially with the confusion damage, and we take down Giovanni. So next is going to be Sabrina. And I'm a little worried about this one because all of her Pokemon have very high special. Out first is Kadabra. I'm going to go for Swift because Kadabra has very bad base defense, and Swift nearly one-shots it. Next is Mr. Mime. Swift looks like it's going to be a 2-hit KO or pretty close to. Double Slap doesn't do that much to me. Swift, it holds on barely. Confusion doesn't do a lot, and we take it down. Venomoth, I'm going to switch to Thunderbolt, and it's a one-shot. Last is Alakazam. I'm going to go for Thunderbolt. That's doing about half. Psybeam gets big damage, confuses me, and now Recover. This isn't looking good, but it goes for another Psybeam. We hold on, and there is Sabrina. And last but not least is Giovanni. Against the first Rhyhorn, it's going to be the same that we did at Silph Co. We're going to use Toxic and then get chip damage on it with Swift. Rhyhorn, best case scenario is that it goes for Tail Whip or Horn Drill. Tail Whip to badge boost us, and Horn Drill because it literally can't hit us because we outspeed. And one-hit KO moves can't hit you if you don't outspeed your opponent. Well, Toxic takes it down. Against Dugtrio, I'm going to use Mimic on Dig. And since we outspeed Dugtrio, when it goes underground, I'll just go underground the next turn first, and then I finish it with Swift. Nidoqueen, we're going to use Dig. Nidoqueen is a one-shot. The crit, I'm pretty sure, probably mattered. Nidoking, we're going to use Dig. And another critical hit, another one-shot. Rhydon, we're going to try to use Toxic on it. It just spams Fissure because Giovanni's good AI says Ground Move, Electric Pokemon, super effective. And with it Poison now, and with Dig on our moveset from Dugtrio, we can take down the Rock Hard Rhino quickly. And there's only one battle left before the Elite Four, and that's Rival 6. How will this battle go? We know what a pain Rival 5 was. I have a feeling Venusaur and Alakazam are going to be a pain in this battle as well. Only one way to find out. Let's get to it. Rival 6 leads with Pidgeot, and I'm going to go ahead and mimic Agility so that we can get some badge boost. Thunderbolt is going to one-shot Pidgeot. Rhyhorn is next. Once again, since it's a rock type and it resists our moves, we're going to Toxic it. I'm going to use an Agility to set up on it. Fury Attack, that's what I don't want to see. I'll go for a second Agility. And now I'm going to start doing chip damage with Swift. We see how little Swift does, but Toxic's really starting to add up. But the damage Rhyhorn did to us really added up, and we level up after Rhyhorn. Gyarados is going to be a one-shot with Thunderbolt. We can still do one more agility, which I opt to do on Growlithe. Ember, not gonna do a lot. Thunderbolt, one shot. Alakazam, I'm gonna go for Thunderbolt. We do outspeed it, which is nice. It went for Reflect, so that pretty much hands us that battle. Venusaur's last. Thunderbolt, not doing too much. Poison Powder, so we're on a timer now. Swift isn't doing too much either, and yeah, Razor Leaf, that just completely obliterated us. So, maybe with a little bit better luck, we can win this. And I have another idea. Instead of mimicking Agility, what if I can mimic Alakazam's Psychic? Because Psychic will be super effective on Venusaur. Only one way to find out to see if this plan can truly work. Pidgeot, we know, coming back out. Thunderbolt, one shot on it. Rhyhorn, once again, same boring tactics. Toxic, take damage from it, and slowly chip away at it with Swift. And just this battle against Rhyhorn and rock Pokemon in general just shows how limited Magneton's move pool is. Like, maybe should have held on to Sonic Boom for a little longer, but maybe not. And we take down Rhyhorn. Gyarados, as we know, Thunderbolt, one shot. Growlithe, Thunderbolt, one shot. Alright, Alakazam's next. Let's go for Mimic. It outsped us in critical hit. I guess we were speed tied with it. I'm gonna attempt the battle again, and you'll see that I come in at a higher level. There's still some trainers on the overworld that I can battle. And I'm hoping being at a higher level with a bit more HP, bit more attack, bit more defense, bit more of everything, that this is just gonna go better. And now I have Reflect on my moveset, and that's to help with Rhyhorn because I know that all it can do is attack us. It could also go for Tail Whip, but it seems to want to use Fury Attack and Stomp all the time. So Reflect is going to help us withstand Rhyhorn's onslaught. Gyarados, as we see here, is a one-shot. We leveled during this battle, also. And since we don't have a badge boosting move and haven't badge boosted at all, maybe we can outspeed Alakazam for sure now. I'm gonna mimic Psychic. It still outspeeds me. We hold on though, thankfully. It goes for Psybeam. We withstand it. Thunderbolt, okay. Thunderbolt's gonna be a 2-hit KO. It goes for Reflect and hands us that battle. Venusaur's last. Let's see how much Psychic can do to it. That's almost a one-shot. It went for Vine Whip instead of Razor Leaf. It's still crit, but that is Rival 6. And all that is left now is the Elite 4. Lorelei, she should be a cakewalk, right? Only one way to find out. Let's see how we do in this first run against them. As we know, Lorelei is going to lead with Dugong. Dugong should be a one-shot, and it is. Cloyster's next. It has Worst Special. It should be a one-shot, and it is. Next is Slowbro. I probably should have mimicked Amnesia, but went for Thunderbolt. It's a one-shot. Jinx, Thunderbolt, doesn't one-shot it. Ice Punch worries me because it can freeze. Crit takes over half our health. That's not good for Lapras. Thunderbolt barely hangs on. Blizzard doesn't knock us out. A second Thunderbolt. We get the victory. So 1 down, 4 to go, including the champion. Now, Bruno worries me a little bit, only because his 2 Onix, we don't really have any moves that can damage them. We don't have Swift on our moveset right now. We deleted it for Reflect to boost our defense further. All we have is Toxic, and that has to stack. So I get an idea. As the poison damage is building against Onix, I think Hitmonchan's next. Hitmonchan knows Ice Punch. I could mimic Ice Punch and take out the second Onix. So, we mimic Ice Punch, it goes for Ice Punch, does very little damage, but there was the slim chance it could have froze us. Thunderbolt takes out both Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. I don't think the crit mattered. Ice Punch on the second Onix, one shot. Machamp is last. Thunderbolt. Critical hit probably mattered against it. I know Machamp has not good special, but good enough. And next is Agatha. I'm gonna put Swift back on my moveset for Agatha, just because Reflect won't help any at all against her Pokemon. At least I think so. And Agatha is the one member I'm worried about, because all of her Pokemon have very high special. So, she leads with Gengar. Gengar withdraws, and Golbat comes out, so Thunderbolt's going to be a one-shot on it. And I guess it's a good thing I didn't go for Mimic the first turn, because that would have been really bad. Because there is a bug in this game, I'm pretty sure, where if your opponent switches as you use Mimic, whatever move you Mimic is permanently on your moveset. And since that's a glitch and somewhat of an exploit, that'd be a reset. But as you just saw with that first battle there with Agatha, she made quick work of us. Let's try this again. Gengar number 1 comes out. Dream Eater, we're not asleep. I'm gonna mimic Hypnosis. We're now gonna go for Thunderbolt. It's gonna be a 2-shot. Nightshade does as much as Gengar's level, so we don't have enough HP. We don't have a lot left. Golbat, we know is gonna be a 1-shot with Thunderbolt. Haunter comes out, I elect to go for Thunderbolt, and Agatha actually switches to Arbok. So I'm gonna Thunderbolt Arbok, it holds on barely. Acid's gonna do a lot of damage, if only this was Gen 2 and we wouldn't be affected by Acid. Thunderbolt's gonna finish off Haunter. Next is Gengar number 2, Hypnosis hits, but it wakes up immediately. I miss Hypnosis, it misses Toxic, I hit Hypnosis. Now I'm just gonna go for Thunderbolt. I have just enough Thunderbolt to take it down, and we do. So, second try Agatha. And last is Lance. And with Lance, I really don't know what I'm gonna do against him. I think, maybe mimicking Agility on one of the Dragonairs. Definitely need Swift against Lance, because Swift can hit both the Dragonairs and the Dragonite, since they resist Thunderbolt. How will this last battle go before the champion? Only one way to find out. Can Magneton take out the Dragon Master on its first attempt? But the one thing that I'm thinking of in this battle is, there's really no good move to Mimic. So, Mimic's essentially going to be useless. Thunderbolt on Gyarados is a 1-shot. And Dragonair number 1 is going to come out. It resists Thunderbolt, so I opt for Toxic. We miss Toxic, and it's just spamming Agility on us. As long as it's using Agility, you know, that's okay. I'm going to go for Swift. Pretty decent critical hit there. Slam doesn't do a lot. And Swift almost takes it out. We take another Slam. That's bad, but poison damage finishes it off. Dragonair number 2, I'm going to do the same strategy. Hyper Beam is what I don't want to see, but since it didn't KO us, it's going to have to recharge. That means poison damage is going to build, Swift can get some extra damage, and it goes for Agility, essentially throwing the battle away. Aerodactyl is next. It outspeeds, goes for Bite, we don't get flinched. Thunderbolt is a 1-shot. Alright, last is Dragonite. We're gonna go for Toxic, we miss. Dragonite goes for Slam, we hang on with 1 HP. Thunderbolt gets a massive critical hit, and Dragonite goes for Barrier and hands us the battle, so we beat Lance on our first try, and I'm pretty shocked by that. But there's one battle left. The champion. We know Alakazam's gonna be a pain. Venusaur's gonna be a pain. But we could also mimic Psychic off of Alakazam, and as long as it doesn't critical hit us, we have a chance. let's see how the final battle goes. By the way, I hope you guys like Hop's Champion music playing here because it's a tune I really like from Sword and Shield. Pidgeot leads, Thunderbolt is going to be a one-shot. Alright, next is Alakazam. It's going to lead with Reflect, that's okay. We're going to Mimic Psychic off of it. And now, Recover, that's okay. Thunderbolt. Looks like it's a two-shot. It goes for Reflect again. Thunderbolt does KO it. Alright, 4 left. Rhydon, I'm going to go for Toxic on it. Same strats as when it was a Rhyhorn. Fury Attack is what I don't want to see. I'd rather see Leer or Horn Drill. I'm going to go for Psychic though, since Psychic does neutral damage. Rhydon has Awful Special. And critical hit Fury Attack, that's what I don't want to see. Only hits 3 times, thankfully. I'm going to go for another Psychic, and it's going to finish it off. Next is Gyarados. Gyarados should be one-shot with Thunderbolt. And it is. Alright. Arcanine is next. Thunderbolt. It hangs on, but we get the Paralyze. Ember doesn't do much damage. Does crit, though. Doesn't burn us either. A second Thunderbolt takes down Arcanine. And last is Venusaur. Let's see how much Psychic does. And it doesn't quite take it out. We get the special drop, and it goes for Solar Beam. We don't get the Gen 1 miss, and we win. And like that, we have beaten the game with Magneton. And I just gotta say, this challenge was really frustrating at times. Magneton's limited move pool is definitely one that I'm glad got some love in later generations. Of course, it helps that more steel moves were added to the games, so it can, use moves like Flash Cannon, still has Thunderbolt, Tri-Attack now. But how was Magneton's time? We have a final time of 4 hours 11 minutes, so Pokemon like Mr. Mime, Victreebel, and Kingler that we've done on the channel have completed the game about 30 minutes to an hour faster than Magneton, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this run. I'm really sorry that the August video is coming out so late. I'm already working on September's video. It's gonna be a treat for you. I've also been thinking about redoing the Hitmonchan run. I recently watched J-Rose's video of that, and I noticed he beat the game at level 65 in 5 hours and 37 minutes. I think I could beat it around a similar level, although I think my time would be not as good as J-Rose's. Anyways, I've got another run to edit. I'm gonna let the credits finish out. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you in the next challenge, which I somewhat foreshadowed in this one. You'll find out what the next challenge is soon. Take care.